Hello everybody and welcome to Game A Dayer. It is day 232 here on Game A Dayer. My name is Step and today we are going to be playing no Marginal or Rain Marginal on this Storytime Sunday Storytime. It's a visual novel, but it looks to be less the dating sim-ish visual novel than we are used to. Looks like more just a story of some sort. So let's see. The last visual novel by Tomo Kataoka, the author of Narcissus First and Second, has arrived. An empty world with endless rain and only one person. Here, there is no hunger, sickness, or even death. Just what story does this world's one occupant have? It's interesting. This game has very positive reviews and is available on Steam for $13.99. So if you are interested in checking out no Marginal, you can do that. But first, you might want to sit right here and join us while we play it. Okay, and I guess we're ready to go, so let's start. Everything has an end. Rain Marginal. Prologue. Rain. Falling from a white sky, small drops of water, raindrops. This sky had, for all this time, never once cleared. The sun during the day, the moon at night, neither had ever shown their faces. Yesterday, a few days before, a few years before, it had always been rainy, and surely tomorrow, the day after, a year later, it would also be rainy. Something that would never stop. An endless rain. Sounds depressing. Stage Nina, 2010 to 2014. In the midst of that, I put my feet into the river, like I always did. It wasn't particularly cold. The water only came up to my ankles or knees. So there was no chance of drowning. Even if you drowned, you wouldn't die from it. And this flow, there wasn't a place where it started, nor was there a shore downriver. In all directions, it was all horizons. It was a river with no end. My aim was far downriver. My destination was there. Before getting to that place would take many, many years, but now I could reach it in an instant. Soon I reached my destination. In the middle of the river, a large pit opened, making a roaring sound. It swallowed the things that had wandered into this world. Most likely, it was there to return things to the real world. I think this place was the exit from this world. I had no proof. Sadly, there was no way to find out, and I had long lost the will to try. However, only this place was... It was the one place in this world that connected to the outside world. That person, he seems to be doing well. Visible faintly within the hole was the image of that person. It seems that he had lost his memory of this place and had returned to his daily life without trouble. Even if he were to forget about me, to me he was the only proof of my existence I could leave in the real world. Much better than leaving only tears. I'm starting to get that this might be a sequel. Just like this endless rain. let this memory be my nourishment for eternity. Everything has an end. Rain Marginal. Monday, in the prologue. It's very artsy so far. Burning sunlight and the voice of cicadas. Even though it was early morning, the sky after the end of the rainy season was almost tragically clear. Today was Monday. The time was 5:47 a.m. and 20 seconds. The beginning of the most depressing day of the week. I had long hated Mondays, and that remains unchanged even after becoming a working adult. This was why, every Monday, I went to the office earlier than anyone else, every week. Inside the swinging train car, as it started getting hot, I headed to the office on the first train of the day. Even though it was before 6, it had already seemed like it was going to be another midsummer day, going against my feelings. Getting off the train and walking along a typical station front street for 5 minutes, I soon could see a mixed-use building. When I arrived, I got in the elevator. The company I work for is on the 4th floor. As the heavy door closes, I press the button for my destination. I pressed the button for the 7th floor. My destination wasn't the 4th floor on my workplace, but the highest floor. A strong wind blew on the bare rooftop. The morning air was a bit chilling. On the other side of the high precautionary fence was a perfectly clear summer sky from the end of the rainy season. Despite it being early morning, I was soaked in sweat. Well, shall we go? Saying that to myself, I started walking toward the edge of the roof. That's right, no matter how much you ran, jumped, or rolled here, you would never fall from the roof. You could call it a safe zone. A fence that prevented falling, prevented suicide, devoted itself to defending against that, saying, I won't let you die. However, as if defying that fence's service, I put my hands on the metal wire and climbed. I finished climbing the fence, accompanied by its rattling sound, and put my feet on the mere 30 centimeters worth of space on the other side. Obviously, this meant there was nothing in my way. It was, at this point, I was no longer within the safe zone. Forget about running. If I so much as lost my balance slightly, I would easily fall to the ground. If I jumped from here, I'd definitely die. Falling from 7th floor, it was only natural to die. Anyone who could survive that could only be counted as lucky. Sadly, my luck was only that of an average person. So, well, it was almost certain I'd die. Just one more step, simply stepping forward. With just that, everything could end. The job I hated, the depressing Monday, I'd be free of them. But I couldn't do it. The reason being, it wasn't as if I would want it to die. Then I should turn right around and return to the safety within the fence, right? But there too was hesitation. Because even though I did not want to die, I also did not want to live. It'd be wrong to say they were the same, to want to die and to not want to live. They were not the same. Similar, but not equal. Even if I were tired of living, I hadn't yet lived long enough to want to die. It was simply that there were mostly painful things, sad things, and living had become stained with distaste. While I was a student, things were still fine, even if there were bad things or painful things. I could see what the cause was. No matter how much it bothered me, if I knew the cause, then I just want to overcome it. Even if I couldn't overcome it, there was hope. Maybe someday I could even look forward. But now that I was an adult, things were different. There weren't clear causes or reasons. There were too many things where no one or nothing was at fault. I learned that this world, that reality, was full of things that can't be helped. Those small pains would, like body blows in boxing, slowly, steadily build up. I guess it's enough. With a light exhale, I once again started climbing the fence. I looked at my watch. It was 6:50 a.m., around the time that people would start coming. Without wanting to die, but climbing the fence like this, an observer would probably think that it were a meaningless act. However, to me, there was a little bit of meaning. To put it in words, it was insurance for the heart. If I came here wanting to die, I could do it any time. It's a way to reconfirm that and a way to maintain my heart's pace. It was a ritual to let out the damage accumulated by the numerous body blows during the day before I was KO'd. Done on the dreariest Monday, using every trick I knew, this was how I managed to keep on living. More than likely, I'd keep on living like this for a long time. One day, someone will do something about it, and if they can't, then they can kill me right now. I knew that this kind of thinking was a sweet illusion that only kids are allowed to have, but even so, I somehow found myself being passive. As I became an adult, the real world became more and more hollow. As I gained experience points, becoming used to things like numbness, and numbness killed the freshness and strong emotions. Originally, time was supposed to be fair to all, but it was getting thinner. I'm not really sure myself whether this was a wish or a complaint, a prayer or a curse. I wasn't even sure who those words were directed to. There was just one thing that was clear. As you can see, I'm a fool. Huh. Elevator win. Elevator, I guess. The next day, while rubbing my sleepy eyes, I headed to the office. Inside the train, there was just a fan that stirred around the warm air. With every station, the sweat on my back would stick to my dress shirt. Oh well. While holding on to a swaying handle, I reflexively loosened my necktie. The sun was burning hot today too. From the heat of the morning, it looked to be the most summery days of the year. All day today I was supposed to be going around making sales. With another sigh, I headed to the office. No matter how depressing it was, there was no other alternative if it was work. The building's elevator lobby. I waited there for a while. It was around business opening time, so a fair number of people were around. Even if it meant missing one elevator, I wanted to get one alone. Because at the start of the day, being trapped with a manager or a coworker and forced to be put on a polite smile was tiring. While thinking about that, I waited for the elevator.
なるほどね。
I see. There was a young woman I didn't recognize. For some reason, she was peering intently at my face.
ま、悪くないか。
Well,
優しいとこ。
Not bad, and seems to have a nice side, too. While saying that to herself, she quickly went off someplace. Maybe she mistook me for someone? Or maybe she had been talking to someone on the cell phone. Well, whatever. I should hurry up. I didn't want to meet any coworkers this early. In moments, the elevator had arrived. I got on alone and looked at the panel of buttons. Of course, today I wasn't headed to the 7th floor. As if perfectly natural, I reached up for the 4th floor button. There, I noticed something strange. Huh? 8th floor? There was a button for a floor I had never seen before. This building only had 7 floors, so there shouldn't be a button for an 8th. I had ridden this numerous times. There was no mistake. Plus, I had gone to the highest 7th floor every Monday, so I knew that the higher floor didn't exist. Maybe I made a mistake and came to the wrong building? That was also impossible. The thought flashed through my mind, and I quickly dismissed it. If anything, the inside of the elevator was very familiar. Since graduating and joining this company, I had used it for 3 years. There was no way I could be mistaken. And even if they were constructing an 8th floor, I'd just been on the roof yesterday. They couldn't have done such a thing in just one day. Then just what did this mean? Even while thinking that this was an odd tale, I slowly pressed the button for the 8th floor. As the elevator rose, I had a number of thoughts. Maybe this is some kind of prank? I couldn't see a reasoning behind it, but if that were true, it was a pretty involved prank. But then, if it weren't true, somewhere in my heart, I felt anticipation for something. Rain? The first thing I could hear was the sound of rain. The first thing I could see was just whiteness. More importantly, just where was this? I'd thought for a moment that I was on the roof, but that was impossible. Just before, I'd been under a blazing summer sky. All I could see were white sky and flagstone, and thanks to the haze from the rain, I couldn't see very far. Even though I had just gotten on the elevator in my office. Wait, the elevators... I realized there. I turned around, and the elevator I'd just exited had disappeared. Reflexively, I looked around the area. The same scene spread before me everywhere. Even when I strained my eyes, peering beyond the rain haze, all I could see was faint white horizon. I had no idea. Already, this was beyond the realm of my comprehension. No, not just me personally, anyone in this situation would be the same. I tried to think as calmly as I could, as realistically and objectively as possible. There were only 2 things I could think of. This is a dream, but it felt too real to be a dream. The scene in front of me, the feel of rain on my skin. Then perhaps this is the afterlife? But even assuming this was the afterlife, I had absolutely no memory of when I died. But maybe that was just how it worked. I had certainly stepped into the elevator, so there was a chance I had an accident there. Maybe this was how it felt to die before you realized it? But, well, I don't really mind that. Even assuming this is the afterlife, that's how I felt. It wasn't as if I wanted to die, but living had also been painful. Deliver me from that, please, or if you couldn't, then kill me now. That was something I'd kept saying to myself every Monday. Looking up, I saw a pure white sky. It was unchanging, giving no indication that it would ever stop. It wasn't a downpour so much as a drizzle, but being in it constantly soaked me. At the least, let's go find a place to get out of this rain. I still had no idea where I was, but there was no point staying still. Taking off my tightly tied necktie, I began walking into the rainy haze. So for a while, exactly how long I don't know, I continued to walk around the area. However, the same scenery just continued on without any change. Everywhere I went, the old flagstones continued. I couldn't see anything that resembled a structure. And of course, no signs of people. No, not just people. There weren't any signs of living, moving things at all. When I casually looked at my watch, it stopped. For some reason, my watch had stopped. The hands continued to denote that it was still 6:40 a.m. That was the time I got into the elevator. I checked when I first got on, so there was no mistaking it. And this also. Just what did it mean? While thinking that, I walked forward. It didn't seem like I would come up with an answer, and standing around wouldn't help. Even though I was getting soaked in the rain, it wasn't particularly cold, but to be constantly rained on was more of a psychological strain than I imagined. I guess I like being in the rain, but it does have like a physiological annoyance factor that when you're in it for a sustained period of time, I would expect you to just ignore it, but maybe it just gets annoying. Eventually, after walking for a while, it was far so I couldn't tell clearly, but I could see something through the rainy haze. At least, from the time I had started walking up to now, it was the first time I'd seen something that could be called a structure. Well, let's head over there then. There might be some kind of hint there, or there might even be someone else. Just as I was thinking that was the time.
こんにちは。
Hello? Being spoken to all of a sudden, I spun around to find an unfamiliar girl there. She was facing me, looking a little embarrassed. Who are you?
私はリンって呼んでくださいね。
Please call me Rin. Cheerfully, Rin, or whatever, bowed her head. She seemed quite young, around elementary school age perhaps. She didn't seem all that surprised at me. In fact, she seemed like a child, but she was somehow extremely calm. It felt like she was used to this mysterious place. But I couldn't help wondering why she was wearing just one shoe, with her other foot left bare. Her appearance was such a disconnect from this place. It made things feel even more unsettling.
おそらくですけど、
I'm guessing,
こ
but
こ来たばかりですよ
you've just
ね。
arrived, right? Eh? Yeah, that's right. Hold on, more importantly, what is this place?
それを説明するのは
Explaining it
ちょ
would
っと
take a
長く
while,
なるか
eh?
な。
Take a while? Explain?
とりあえずは雨に濡れるからこっち来てください。
For now, since we'll get wet, please come here to the structure. Hey! As if she didn't hear my voice, she ran off while making splashing sounds. I had no idea what she was. I stared at her back, wondering if I should be going with her, while at the same time, I thought he was already soaked. Turning around, the girl, no, I believe she said Rin, energetically called to me. I didn't really feel any evil intent from her, even if there were tons of unanswered questions and doubts. Nothing could be done just standing there. Coming to that decision, I followed after her. I walked behind her until we arrived in front of the large building. It's a bus stop. Apparently, I'd seen it from quite a distance. There were a number of stone columns, and in the middle was a thing that looked like a bench. Despite there having been no man-made things or anything other than the aged flagstone up until now, to see fragments of modern civilization in just this spot was also very odd. That's a cold rain, eh? Brushing off the rain clinging to her, she stood next to the old bench and bus stop signs. Apparently, only this place had bits of civilization and some small traces of someone living here. Laundry? Left your laundry out to dry? Saying that, she hurriedly went to grab the laundry-like clothing. There was a rope skillfully strung between the two bus stop signs. Apparently, she'd been drying clothes there. Oh, Japan. She blushed heavily at the uncharacteristically flashy underwear, and looking closer, there seemed to be things resembling books of manga beyond her. Why did this one spot have pieces of modern life? I couldn't even imagine the reason. However, there was something that held my attention even more. I thought that there might be a chance other people were around. Hey, could it be that you're alone? Once in a while someone comes through, but it's just me. The only place you don't get wet from the rain. The only place with a roof is here. I see. Most likely it wasn't a lie, but the honest truth, I couldn't think of how lying to me would benefit her, and the girl in front of me didn't seem to be that kind of person. Plus, before coming here, I had walked around on my own and couldn't see anything resembling a building or traces of people. That meant the only ones here were the girl and myself, and just what was this place? I thought it was a dream at first, but decided against that. It all felt too real, a place I had never seen before, with an unfamiliar girl now appearing before me. It was too much to be a dream. Then that left just one answer. Then this is the world you go to after you die? The world after you die, you mean the afterlife? Yeah, even I think it's a bit unrealistic, but I can't think of anything else. Makes sense, a bus stop. Even if this is where you go after you die, I have no memory whatsoever of dying. But that might just be how that worked. I suppose that's what was going on before I came here. I probably died in an elevator accident. I don't really want to imagine what my real body looks like right now. Flattened from falling a long distance or torn to pieces. As I dazedly pondered that, the girl slowly opened her mouth. I don't really know, but I don't think so. No? Then this is the real world?
それもまた
It's a bit off
違
too.
うというか。で、ちょうどいいものを持ってますね。
Oh, you've got just the thing for this. Saying that, she pointed at my wristwatch. For some reason, it had been stopped all this
その
time.
腕時計、止まったままですよね。
Yes, the watch had stopped. Yes, what about it?
と、
Essentially,
つま
that's
り
what it is.
そういうことなんです。ここはですね、
This place, you see,
時の止まった場
is
所
a
なん
place
です。
where time has stopped. Time has stopped?
ここは完全に
This
現
place
実
is
世界とは違
completely
う
different
場
from
所で、
places
時間も止まったままなんです。
from the real world, a place where time stands still. I don't get it. More like, I understand what the words themselves mean, but not their content.
具体的に言うとですね、ここで
To
は
put it
お腹も
concretely,
減らないし、
here you don't
年を取
get
ることも
hungry
ないん
and
で
you
す。
don't age. And you can't even die?
そうです。
Okay. It's like a sci-fi novel or a fable.
気持ちはわかりますけど、これが現実です。
Is it really real though? Even hearing that, I can't exactly just go, oh, okay. But at the same time, I couldn't deny everything, even if I think it's all unscientific. If nothing else, the scene spread in front of me. The things surrounding how I came here were all real. If I were to believe the girl's words, then this place is like a room for a soul and time? So like in Dragon Ball, a separate dimension where one day becomes 1 year. But wait, you went to that one willingly, so it's different, right? I had just arrived here before I knew it. Then this is like a Mayoiga? A place that appears to lost travelers? And you here, sorry, Rin? You're like the master?
別に私、妖怪とかじゃないですよ。
It's not like I'm some kind of spirit or monster, you know. Oh no, I meant that as an example. I still didn't understand the conditions of how I managed to come in. But essentially, this place seemed to be another dimension, separate from the real world.
で、それに、元の世界に帰りたいならいつでも帰れますよ。
Good to know we can go back anytime. Huh? I can go back? Anytime? That was unexpected. I didn't think that's how stuff like this worked. Like, once you enter, you can never leave, or at least it would be really difficult to. And yet the girl before me was saying how easy it was to go back.
じゃあ、ちょっと行ってみますか？
Then why don't we go and see for a bit? Hey, wait! Before I could speak, she quickly jumped outside. She'd been like that earlier, lively, you might say, or at least unable to sit still. Oh well, let's go take a look. Unchanging, the rain continued to fall. Falling from the white sky, it formed little drops and struck my body. Under that sky, I followed behind the girl. Splashing sounds of water rose up from the wet ground. It was like a drizzle, so you didn't get drenched, but you would get a bit wet. However, it wasn't cold or chilling, it was simply wet.
この辺だと
Oh
思
no,
うんだけ
she's
ど
lost. Thought it was around here. What's wrong? You've been peering around for a while.
はい、だいたいいつもこの辺りに現れるはずなんです。
What appears? Appears? What will?
もちろん現実世界への出入り口ですよ。
The entryway to the real world, of course. Entryway? She never failed to say things that were incomprehensible. While thinking that and walking around a bit,
ほら、見えました。
At this distance, even I could see what she was talking about. Beyond the rainy mist, there was a small box-like structure. Could that be an elevator? Though for some reason the exterior had become an aged stone structure. On closer examination, I saw marks of what appeared to be elevator parts in various places. You could almost believe that it had grown suddenly out of a rooftop.
よくわかりませんけど、ここから入ってきたんですよね。
Did we? Did we come in through this? Yeah, that's right.
では帰る時もここか
And
らだ
you'd
と
go
思
back
い
through
ま
it
す
too.
よ。
I see. That makes a certain kind of sense. It was certainly more natural than suddenly appearing out of empty space or disappearing like smoke.
でも最近はこういう出入り口になってるんですね。
Recently, the entryways become this sort of thing now. Oh, so this was the hole, and it became an elevator. Recently? Then was it different normally?
はい、今までは襖やドアが多かったかな。
Sliding screens or doors. Okay.
今回のは変わっててちょっと面白いかも。
This time's different and a bit fun. Saying that, Rin smiled happily. Looking at her young features with that smile, I felt like she was an honest and good child. But from what she had said, there were a number of things that nagged at me. I probably was mistaken, but... So you don't know what an elevator is?
もう知ってますよ。上に行ったり下に行ったりする乗り物ですよね。
Is a thing you ride up and down in. She stood up a bit straighter when she said this. She was describing it a bit oddly, but she was correct.
それでどうされます？帰りますか？
Will we go back? I hesitated a bit. It was true that I was dissatisfied with the real world. When I first came here, I thought I'd died, and figured there wasn't much I could do if I was dead. But if there was a choice... It was also odd to be asked if I wanted to reject that and stay here. Say, Rin, one question.
はいは
If I go back, would I be able to return here?
い。いえ、それは無理みたいです。
There's the catch. Well, that was natural. If that were true, this place would probably be full of people. Then there's some kind of time limit? If I go past that, I can't go back?
確か3日間くらいは大丈夫だったと思いますよ。
3 days, then there's no rush to get back. Staying here forever might turn out to be painful. Yet compared to the real world, it wasn't necessarily worse either. Then for now, I'll leave off going back.
本当ですか？嬉しいな。
She just needs somebody to talk to.
ほら、ここってめったに人が来ないから一人で寂しかったんですよ。
Yeah, I imagine. She faced me cheerfully and said that, well, it's only natural to feel lonely when you're all alone in a place like
じゃ
this.
あ、さっきの場所に戻りましょうか。
The place from earlier. You mean the bus stop? Yeah, we'll get wet if we just keep standing here after all.
それに、そろそろ日が暮れ始めますから急ぎましょう。
And it's going to be dark soon. It gets dark, but isn't time stopped?
よくわかりませんけど、夜はあるんですよ。
So there's night and day in this time-stopped world. With that, Rin started walking quickly. As I watched her, I recalled something that had been nagging at me before. From what she had explained, time had stopped in this place. You don't get old or hungry or die. Also, she said people rarely come here, and she felt lonely being here on her own. Then she can't have been here. She can't have been her since a long time ago, can she? That flashed through my mind suddenly, and I quickly quashed it. At the least, she knew what an elevator was. Her clothing was a bit strange, but it was obviously modern. Oh well, there's still time. There were a bunch of things that were hazy, but they'd probably become clearer eventually. Man, we're not gonna get into the meat of this story, are we? This is a slow burn. Time passed. We returned to the place from before. And I had asked her a number of questions, but... I don't really know. Or... I think that's probably right. It was like that all the time. I didn't feel like I heard anything solid. How long had this place existed? For whom? For what purpose? To begin with, just what was this place? A bit more personally, why did I come here? I asked a mountain of these natural questions, and she herself didn't make any firm answers. At the time, she didn't seem to be lying or hiding anything. Apparently, she herself didn't really understand. Oh, yeah, earlier, did you say night was coming? Any moment, eh? Despite that, I don't see any changes. The sky above us remained pure white, still pouring down rain. And you couldn't even tell whether it was morning or afternoon. Only has night and day. Day and night, there's no morning or evening? Dangerous how? When she continued to explain. Around here it seems like there really is nothing. Obviously there's no man-made lights, but you also can't see the stars or moon. So at night it becomes pitch black, and if you go too far from this place, it's apparently dangerous. I see. Certainly walking around in pitch black is dangerous. Sleeping before night comes is best. There's no place to sleep here, but... Saying that, she pointed at the bench we had been sitting on. Now that she mentioned it, there wasn't anything else usable in sight. A bit narrow for... Eh? Oh, don't worry about me. I'll just lie down and sleep around here. Ah, the who gets the bed trope. No way. No matter how you look at it, the bench is for just one person. I'm fine. It's enough that I don't get wet from the rain. Since she was here first and I came later, looking at it that way, I could be called a freeloader. Moreover, from what I'd heard earlier, you don't get hungry here. Or sick, and apparently don't die. So from that, I had a feeling it wasn't physically possible to be injured, or if you did get hurt, it would quickly heal. Then there's nothing to worry about sleeping on the floor. And even if there's no other choice, sleeping on a bench like some homeless guy? Wait, bench? Hey, this place is really strange. Time has stopped, eh? No, I didn't mean that. Why is it that this place has benches and bus stops? Exactly. Everything else is just aged stonework. They were too out of place. Sometimes she... What's wrong? Night is coming. With those words... In a flash, the sky turned dark. What had been just pure white was being painted black. It was like watching one of those time-lapse videos.
おやすみなさい。
Why can't we continue now? Wait, hold on.
それとベンチどうも。
Sorry about the bunch. Saying just that, she lay down on the bench. And as I was about to say my next sentence, she falls asleep. She's already asleep. That's a bit quick, even for a person who sleeps easily. While thinking that, I lay down helplessly next to the bench. And while feeling the cold, hard stone on my back, I quietly closed my eyes. And that's going to be it for us for today. Sorry, guys. I know it's we didn't get much past the prologue, but we're already almost an hour in, and I'm out of time. So thanks for joining me here today on Game Adair. If you do want to see the rest of Everything Has an End, Reign Marginal, then please hit that like button and have all of your friends, family, pets, and loved ones do the same. Because the first video on this channel to get 100 likes will get a full playthrough of that game as a bonus video for the channel. So if you want that game to be Everything Has an End, then please make sure to give this video some love. It is intriguing. Also, if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please hit that subscribe button, and when you do, make sure you hit that dingy bell, because that will let you know when I upload new videos, which I do every single day. My name is Step. We have been playing Everything Has an End, Reign Marginal, here on this Sunday Storytime. Thanks so much for watching, and please come back tomorrow when we'll be playing something for Mobile Monday. Thanks, guys.